The night had draped the hospital in an eerie silence, and I found myself wandering through its dimly lit corridors. As a nurse on the night shift, I was accustomed to the occasional unsettling creaks and moans of an old building settling. However, tonight felt different. There was an unmistakable chill in the air, and an unsettling feeling gnawed at the pit of my stomach. The hospital was known for its tragic history, haunted by the memories of countless lives that had passed within its walls. Patients claimed to hear strange whispers at night, and some even swore they had seen apparitions roaming the hallways. I had always dismissed such tales as mere urban legends, until tonight. As I walked past the room where a young girl had lost her life just a week ago, a soft giggle echoed in the darkness. My heart skipped a beat, and I tightened my grip on the clipboard in my hand. "It's just my imagination," I muttered, trying to reassure myself. I turned a corner and stopped dead in my tracks. A figure stood at the end of the hallway, barely visible in the shadows. My breath caught in my throat as I strained to see more clearly. It was a girl, seemingly of the same age as the one who had passed away recently. Her eyes glowed a haunting shade of blue, and her pale face bore a sorrowful expression. Trepidation mingled with curiosity, and I mustered the courage to approach her. "Hello?" I called out, my voice trembling. The girl's spectral form shifted, and she floated closer, her feet not touching the ground. "Hello?" she replied, her voice like a soft, distant echo. "I'm a nurse here. Are you lost?" I asked, my rational mind struggling to make sense of the situation. "I'm lost," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "I can't find my way." A surge of empathy washed over me. "What's your name?" I inquired gently. "Emily," she answered, her gaze never leaving mine. "Emily," I repeated, committing the name to memory. "Don't worry, Emily. I'll help you find your way." She smiled faintly, and I noticed the sadness in her eyes deepen. "Thank you." Together, we ventured through the hospital, the only sound being the soft rustling of Emily's ethereal presence. As we passed the rooms of other patients, I noticed their vital signs fluctuating inexplicably. It was as though Emily's presence was affecting them somehow. "Emily, do you know what happened to you?" I asked carefully. "I was sick," she replied, her voice quivering. "I was scared, and then I was here." She didn't provide any further details, and I didn't press her. It was evident that the hospital itself held her spirit captive, and she was unable to move on. As the night wore on, the hospital's atmosphere grew heavier. The whispers that once seemed like harmless murmurs now carried a sinister edge. Emily led me to places I had never been before, hidden corners where the darkness seemed to gather like a malevolent force. "I don't like it here," Emily confessed, her voice trembling. "We'll find a way out together," I assured her, determined to help this lost soul find peace. As we explored, we stumbled upon a forgotten wing of the hospital. The air grew colder, and an overwhelming sense of dread enveloped us. A series of flickering lights illuminated a decrepit room at the end of the corridor. I hesitated, sensing that something malevolent resided inside. Emily, however, floated toward it, as if drawn by an invisible force. "This is where it happened," she whispered. "What happened, Emily?" I asked, my heart pounding. "I don't remember everything," she said, tears welling up in her spectral eyes. "But I remember the pain and the fear." Suddenly, a chilling gust of wind swept through the corridor, and the lights flickered wildly. Shadows danced on the walls, taking grotesque shapes. Fear gripped my heart as I realized that Emily was not the only presence in this forsaken place. A haunting laughter echoed around us, and the atmosphere became suffocating. The malevolent entity, perhaps the source of all the hospital's haunting legends, was revealing itself. It sought to keep Emily trapped, feeding off her fear and despair. With newfound determination, I took Emily's semi-transparent hand and held it tightly. "You are not alone, Emily. Together, we will face whatever lies ahead." The malevolent entity surged forward, attempting to intimidate us, but our unity seemed to weaken its power. As we stood strong against the darkness, the entity's form wavered, and its laughter turned into enraged howls. With a final burst of energy, Emily and I raced through the winding corridors, back to the main hospital wing. We reached the entrance just as the first rays of dawn illuminated the sky. The entity's influence waned with the approaching daylight, and it retreated into the shadows. Emily turned to me, her ghostly form slowly fading away. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "No thank you, Emily," I replied, tears welling up in my eyes. "You taught me the true meaning of courage and the strength that lies in compassion." As the sun rose, the hospital returned to its normal state, the whispers subsiding into silence. I had encountered a ghostly presence, but instead of fear, it left me with a profound sense of empathy and the understanding that some spirits linger because they need help finding their way. From that night on, I made it my mission to assist lost souls like Emily, guiding them towards the light and eternal rest. The hospital remained haunted, but the darkness that once consumed it slowly gave way to the compassion and light I had discovered in the presence of a girl ghost named Emily.